So Marvel Studios and Sony are moving forward very quickly with their Spider-Man 4 plans, and not just Spider-Man 4, but the future plans of Spider-Man in general, as we have a synopsis for Spider-Man 4 today, and reports stating that Spider-Man is already going to be a leader in Spider-Man 4. We also hear that Daredevil and maybe Ant-Man are going to be a part of Spider-Man 4 as well, and some people really don't like this. I've seen a lot of people talking about it online, because the ending of Spider-Man No Way Home finally set up Peter Parker to be on his own, to be that friendly neighborhood Spider-Man that we know and love from the comics. But with these new reports about Spider-Man 4 today, they state that he's already a leader, so perhaps some time has passed in the MCU since we've seen him last, which I understand how it could hit people the wrong way. But today we're going to go over everything that has been said recently about Spider-Man 4, including the synopsis that is out there right now and the fact that this could be another Civil War movie, but not exactly how you think, not with the characters that you would think. So let's dive into it, but if you're new, be sure to subscribe to the channel so you can stay up to date on all Spider-Man news and MCU news, and if you subscribe and leave a comment down below, you are automatically entered in our giveaway for a chance to win an Xbox Series X, a PS5, some Marvel Legends items, and some DC items as well. The winner picks one item, and we pick one winner at the end of each month. So some major details about Spider-Man 4 have been put out there in a synopsis by two really credible insiders, Alex Perez from thecosmiccircus.com and Cryptic HD Quality, and they confirm a huge plot of this movie. Alex Perez put this out there as the synopsis and plot of the movie, stating Kingpin, as the mayor of NYC, puts into effect a law that outlaws vigilantism, targeting heroes like Spider-Man and Daredevil, among others, and establishes a bounty hunt for these heroes where several villains pop in for their shot at taking down Spidey and Daredevil. Sign me up. The insider Cryptic HD Quality backed this up as well, but added a little bit more, stating that Spider-Man 4 will have the Civil War layout, but street level. Any Avengers will be minor, unclear what role any of them, including Ant-Man, would play. Spider-Man is already a leader in Spider-Man 4 and is essential to the MCU's future. Now, there's a lot to break down here, and I believe I know how it's all going to kind of play out. But first, let's address the Ant-Man showing up in Spider-Man 4 rumor. This is a report which originally came from Daniel RPK, and the report originally said that Marvel Studios is looking for another big name to put in Spider-Man 4, much like they did with Robert Downey Jr., with Happy Hogan, with the other two Spider-Men. Basically, Sony and Marvel are looking for another person to kind of mentor Peter Parker, which is something that not a lot of people want. It's not that they don't want cameos in the movie, it's that we don't want Peter Parker to have a mentor and somebody looking out for him. We want him to finally be on his own. I actually have a lot of thoughts about this, and I'll share them in another video, so look out for that. But I will say Ant-Man showing up in Spider-Man 4 does make sense, if you think about it. The future of Marvel Studios is Spider-Man right now. He's probably the biggest face in the MCU right now. Yes, we do have people like Doctor Strange and the Scarlet Witch, and of course Sam Wilson is Captain America now, but none of them are really the leader of the Avengers. Even Ant-Man has never been in a leadership role. But of course now all our leaders are gone. Captain America's gone, Iron Man's gone, the Scarlet Witch, Hulk has kind of been nerfed. You get it. And yes, we have heard the reports stating that Spider-Man is going to be the lead character in Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars, not necessarily the leader of the Avengers, but the lead character of the movies. That's why it makes sense to have Ant-Man come into Spider-Man 4, because the last thing that Ant-Man did was deal with Kang. And that's not something that you just keep to yourself. I know the ending of Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania kind of played it off like Ant-Man believed everything was okay, but if you face somebody like Kang the Conqueror, a multiversal villain, somebody who has already killed many different Avengers before, and somebody who has blatantly stated that there are other variants of himself out there, you need to tell somebody. And he's had run-ins with Sam Wilson before, however, we have no idea what is going to take place in Captain America 4. I'm betting that out of everybody that Ant-Man would want to go and tell about Kang, he would probably search for Doctor Strange in New York. I think Spider-Man would definitely be on his mind, but I think Doctor Strange would be his first pick. However, Doctor Strange during this time is probably not going to be in our dimension. He's probably going to be with Clea, helping reverse an incursion that he caused, which we saw in the post-credit for Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. So he could go to New York, search for Doctor Strange, finds out from maybe Wong or somebody else that he can't find Doctor Strange, so he decides to look for Spider-Man. I'm sure he might mention it to Wong as well, or maybe Wong is also gone and that's why he looks for Peter. And I think this is how Ant-Man could get involved in Spider-Man 4, and this makes sense. It's not just doing a cameo for cameo's sake. However, I really hope they don't make him the mentor, and I don't think Ant-Man would really stand in a position to be the type of mentor that Tony Stark was to him or Happy Hogan was to him. I think he would be more like of a colleague to him, which is why I'm okay with Daredevil being in this movie as well. Daredevil would be a mentor to him and would definitely help him out, but again, I don't think it would be like Tony Stark was. Tony Stark was basically like a father to Peter, and Happy Hogan basically tried to fill that role for him when Tony was gone as well, and let's face it, Nick Fury was kind of like a babysitter to Peter. He kind of just told him what to do, and it wasn't even really Fury in Far From Home. So that's not how it would be with Daredevil or Ant-Man. They would be more like colleagues, and I think it would be really cool to see them all together, especially the Bug Bros. Now, according to Cryptic HD Quality, we are going to see other characters like Kate, Jessica, and Echo appear, along with others that they don't want to mention yet. But they did state that this is kind of going to be like a little civil war on a street level, and that is going to be because of the law that Kingpin establishes as the mayor, the one that outlaws vigilantism. So it's basically going to be like a mini Captain America Civil War. The premise is almost pretty much the same. Instead of the Sokovia Accords, they have this new law placed by Kingpin. So I'm sure some people are going to want to follow the law and not be vigilantes anymore, but some people are going to think that it's dumb and they're going to do it anyways. And it looks like Spider-Man is going to get caught somewhat in the middle, and we could see some defenders like Jessica Jones returning, which has been reported, and then maybe some characters like Ant-Man might have a different perspective because he has a daughter and a family. But then on the other hand, it looks like Daredevil has been fighting crime for a while now and probably doesn't plan to give it up anytime soon. So this is where kind of the civil war could come in, a debate between all of the vigilantes about whether to continue or not. Now, I do like this as far as the story goes. I like how grounded and street level it could be. However, I do think by the end, they ultimately are going to set up something way bigger because, of course, this movie is going to go into Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars. So I think by the end of this movie, the threat of Kang is going to be very, very real, whether that is brought on by Ant-Man or by a variant appearing or incursion starting to happen. I think it's going to become very apparent that Kang is possibly about to destroy their universe and take over the entire multiverse. Since Spider-Man is going to be the lead of the next two Avengers films, they have to set this up. Now, they could do it in a post-credit scene. However, I think it probably would need a little bit more time to be set up. So I think the movie is going to end with whoever the main villain of this film is going to be defeated. I don't think it's going to be Kingpin. I do think that they are eventually going to do an actual Sinister Six movie in the MCU with Tom Holland's Spider-Man, and Kingpin will be a part of that. And he's obviously going to play a pretty big role in Spider-Man 4, but I don't think he'll be the main villain. I don't think Spider-Man is defeating Kingpin in this movie. So what will most likely happen is that whoever they deem to be the main villain of this will be defeated by Spider-Man. Then they'll talk about how the real person in charge that needs to be defeated is Kingpin. They'll kind of end it there and then go into whatever they need to go into to set up Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars. And honestly, if that's what this next Spider-Man movie is about, I'm here for it. Spider-Man with Daredevil, with Ant-Man, that's going to be really, really cool, especially if they are simply kind of his colleagues, his buddies, people who are looking after him because he's also looking after them, just like friends do, but not like a father figure like Tony Stark, Happy Hogan, or Nick Fury. We need Spider-Man to be on his own, and like I said, I'll do another video about that, but in the meantime, let me know your thoughts about all of this in the comments down below. Do you like the premise for Spider-Man 4 with Daredevil, Ant-Man, and others possibly showing up in the film, or do you want to see it go in a different direction? Let us know your thoughts in the comments down below. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe so you can stay up to date on the latest news. You can find us on Instagram and Twitter, and as always, thank you all so much for watching. Woof woof.